everyone that has stuck around since 2013 is dialed in. They are dialed incredibly in.
Try go playing an old Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Oh, they are sweaty on that.
Jumps down and slides down the hill. I see shots going above his head.
So she's like, oh, great, on her one day off, you're trying to romance this Pan Am chick. I'm like, honey, it's V, it's not me. Come on.
Brought back some old Catholic school memories, did it?
Oh, man, yeah, you just... Okay, you know the DMV sloth?
I know you're going with this.
Yeah, this guy.
You're listening to On the Rewind.
This is On the Rewind, a bi-weekly Neon Blinds media production where nerds, geeks collide on the latest and nostalgic topics, airing on Amherst Island Radio 101.3 FM. Make sure you turn into our long run of the show on whatever podcatcher you have for your choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. But today's probably going to be a shorter run of the show, so what do you got for us on the Rewind, Adam?
So we actually kind of talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago. It was kind of cool. Sam and Max, for anyone who didn't listen to the last podcast, they just remastered the last two games and came out with a new one, correct?
I think all three are remasters, if I'm...
Oh, okay. I thought that the third one was a brand spanking new one, because I had never heard of it. But,
That's the Devil's Playhouse?
Yeah.
Let me check the... No, yeah, that is new.
All right.
It might be a remaster of an old one, but it came out August 14th, 2024, which makes sense why everything was on sale.
Yeah. So I picked up the whole trilogy. Extremely glad I did, because been playing that. But anyways, to pretty much sum up, it is an old retro point-and-click adventure game, mystery game, whatever you want to call it, centered around Sam and Max. Sam is a dog, Max is a rabbit. They are freelance police going around solving wacky crimes in wacky fashion. Really good. Honestly, I've been playing it on like Saturday and Sunday mornings. I'll go out, get like a double or something like that, come back, have my cats with me, and I just sit down and I play that for... Well, the first Saturday I played it, I'm not gonna lie to you, I played it for like 10 hours straight. I finished a game in a day. Just loved it. So into that whole style. To me is just so fun, because it takes me back to the old Scooby-Doo games that I used to play.
Yeah.
Where you're going around, you have to figure out what tools you have to figure out how to fix said problem. First one is really, really good in my opinion, because it's more, especially the first couple episodes, it's more down to earth. It's more based in reality. It's kind of nice. It's like just solving pretty simple, but still wacky, but simple cases just around your neighborhood. Yeah. Like the first one, it's such a great tutorial episode. And I won't spoil much, but it's just going around outside of your office to the convenience store and to the therapist that's beside you. And it stays in that general area, and it works out so well in my opinion, because it's just like, hey, you're getting the basics down. This is your neighborhood. And throughout the first and second game, I've only played up to the second game, you always have your neighborhood. You always have that place to like kind of go back to and maybe pick something out of there and touch in on the lives in your neighborhood, as well as usually a new area that kind of like revitalizes and like refreshes you and gives you a whole new perspective on how to do something else. I will say some of these are difficult. Some of them are difficult. I have had to Google. I can count it on one hand how many times I've had to Google something. And I think 3 of those times, the worst thing happened where I knew how to do it and what to do. I just was like not clicking the right thing.
Okay.
I knew exactly, like, let's say I had to give Derek the the cake to solve the crime or whatever. I would click the cake, I would click Derek. I'm like, well, what's going on? This is not working. So I'd like spend an hour going around figuring out how else to do it. Turns out it's like, no, to give Derek the cake, you have to set the cake down on the table in front of him. So instead of clicking Derek with the cake, you have to click the cake and then click the table in front of Derek. And it's like, oh, for God's sake. I was here an hour ago with this with this thought process. Just was not paying attention whatsoever. Yeah. So that's happened a few times. Besides that, I've had an absolute blast. The first game, it was kind of like adult themed a bit. There was like some like tongue-in-cheek Disney Pixar type jokes for adults. The second one, they've gone full out. They've gone full right into it. It's not raunchy, but it's getting there sometimes where they're like,
you think the third one's gonna be rated R?
I hope so. I hope so, because some of these ones are kind of it's still funny. It's old funny, but still good. Also, the jump from the first to the second game is like they leveled up everything. Like the first, every single you have the game, and there's like, let's say 5 episodes per game. Every single episode has an intro and an extra, and like the first game, they were really boring and you couldn't skip them. And the only thing that changed was the car, which was still cool, but it was kind of annoying. The second game, it's an interactive intro where all of a sudden like a crosshair will go on and you can start shooting stuff in the credits. So that jumped up the level a bit, and then the graphics obviously jumped up, and then it's Beyond Space and Time is the name of the second game. Yeah. So as you can probably tell by that title, they go right out. They use that liberty as much as they can, and it's like, no, you're going everywhere. We're going to use all this assets that we have. So really excited for the third game. I'm right at the tip of the end of the second game. What else can I say about it? It's nostalgia, but it also feels fresh enough that that they've done a really good job with it. Raunchy, all the above. That's what I want to say. I am so glad, because after the episode that we recorded, I was just gonna get the third one, because I think I had only played like as a kid 10 minutes of the first one way back when, got pissed off and left it. So I'm so glad I took all of them, because the references just from the first to the second alone, you would not understand.
Yeah.
You would not, it just would look cool, but you wouldn't understand at all any of it. Like there's just a tied up guy in your closet. And to anyone else, you're like, hey, that's kind of a weird little hint, but then for anyone that played the first would know exactly what happened. So I like that, enjoying it. On these, and also Derek, you picked them up. Yeah.
I'm about an hour and a half into the very first one. Well, we watched that Wyatt Earp documentary.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me in the Western mood, and I don't want to put the time in for the Red Dead RP. I can't. So Hunt Showdown's got me going. They just did a whole like engine update, overhaul on a lot of things. They're redoing a lot of their maps. And they updated the name. Hunt Showdown 1896.
Yeah.
So what we get with that is you got the engine update, new UI. Things are a bit more polished, and things are a little bit better balanced. Okay. As well as they've added a new boss, a new map. They've taken the old maps to redo them.
Yeah.
So those will be coming along at some point. But if you go to its store page, it's still recent reviews, mostly negative, all reviews, mostly positive. A lot of people hate the new UI. I saw that. What they did was You know how like the new Call of Duty UI, there's like all these different tabs, and you're like, okay, I just want to play multiplayer. Get me into a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, they updated their UI, and that's kind of more like what you'd see now in the Call of Duty launcher.
Yeah. Okay.
And no one's a fan of that.
No. They
No
just
one's
won't play
even
the
a
game.
fan of all your Call of Duties being lumped into one launcher, let alone.
It is semi-confusing with the Call of
Yeah.
Duties, and I haven't played the Hunt Showdown, but yeah, it is
Yeah,
semi-confusing
so-
when that happens.
It's relatively like once you know where to go, you're good. But like coming back to it takes you a minute. And like if you're someone that likes looking at your stats for like, oh, what's your KD and stuff like that, it's a little bit hard to find unless you kind of get a gist of where you're going. I've had to instruct a
Yeah.
few people. It was intuitive for me because I've played a bit of Call of Duty in the last little while. So
Yeah.
it just kind of like it made sense to a degree. But I do like the older UI. It was more minimalistic.
Yeah.
But new engine, everything's shinier. So they wanted to beef up the menu, and they're bringing it to like PS5 and the new Xbox as like remaster or like to that engine level. So they want it to look like a new game.
Yeah. Give it a new face for how much
Yeah.
work they put into it.
But despite the mostly negative reviews, that hasn't stopped them from last weekend that just went by. They're hitting 100,000 concurrent players over the weekend.
Nice.
So
yeah, live and well.
despite the reviews, live well. I'm enjoying it. Lots of people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
But so got the settling kick from there. I dabbled in Once Human the last couple of nights just to get in because they allegedly wiped, and I wanted to see what that was going to be like for that game. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I loaded in. You're still in your old like the previous wipe until you hit confirm to go into the
Okay.
next. There is a time where they kill that server off, but it's like a month after the wipe.
Oh.
So you got
Okay.
time. It's not that bad. And there's some people that they did go into their stuff, and I didn't look it up until after the fact. You can move all your different gear and stuff that you want to move forward into the next wipe, into like this storage thing, and you have like an allotment of points of what you can bring into you to give you a head start in the next wipe.
Okay.
So, but it automatically does your tools.
Which is nice.
And stuff like that. So, even though I forgot or didn't know to just go in and do that, and I just hopped into the next server. I messaged my buddy. He's like, hey, what server are you on now? He's like, this one. All right, loaded it up.
Yeah.
And then, but I still brought like the top tier, like gathering material, stuff like that, to the point where what did take me like a couple of days to get like the base up and running, I got up and running in 2 hours.
Okay.
And then also got a vehicle up and running.
Yeah, so
for
gives
an
you
open
enough
world
of it.
survival game, like, yeah, I'm set now. It's just time to go hunt and kill bosses.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
you
like
have
2
your
hours of
base
prep work.
ready.
So I can't complain there. Like the wipe's honestly not that bad. And if you like how you build your base, it saves a blueprint of the last base you built. So I could have just plopped that down, but I like, you know me, I like being creative, so made something new this time.
Yeah, give you another shot at it.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Other than that, I picked up a few games a little while ago. I haven't had taken the liberty of playing yet. Pilgrim. It's kind of like a medieval Lethal Company.
Yeah.
So instead of going to different planets, you're on this wagon, or this carriage that you're getting fuel for that's getting pulled by magic, and you're going to these what looks like cataclysms to try and loot them, avoid traps, and deal with the critters inside there and get more fuel and loot. And you'll come across this trader who you can sell that to along your pathway.
Okay.
So instead of loading constantly into new ones, you're in one world that you're loading into crypts along this road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so each character wears a mask, and so if a character dies, how you resurrect them is you can either bring their body, if they're not dismembered, to a ritual circle.
Yeah.
and you actually have to get chalk and do a pentagram, and it'll bring them back. Or if their body's dismembered, you have to go buy their mask from the trader, throw the mask in, and draw the pentagram.
Okay.
And it's got some neat little niches in there. I still haven't gotten to try the Outlast Trials update. It's on the to-do list, but I think it's gonna be Sam and Max before that for a little while.
Yeah.
But
at least Sam Max doesn't take that long, which is nice.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting down and only having like an hour-long session at a time. So
yeah.
I'm going to be taking my time with it when it comes to that. I had one other thing. Yes, Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, yes.
Been playing that a bit. I just found out that you can make the goat shriek by clicking the right analog in. The missus loves that. So we were playing in co-op. We got a nice little setup. So we're play together on Steam. It's really nice because I'm playing off my computer. I send her a link. She's playing through the internet as a second controller off her Steam Deck. We're playing together. Neat little kind of action roguelike with a settlement mechanic behind it. And we have more fun playing the mini games in the settlement than we do actually in the going into the dungeon.
Yeah.
So they got this thing called Knuckle Bones, which is like a 3x3 like tic-tac-toe kind of board, but there's two of them. And you each roll dice and you place it in one of the three rows and they stack up vertically. And so if, let's say, I roll a 2 and they roll a 2, and it's their turn first, they place down that 2, I place down the 2 in the same row, it knocks their 2 out.
Okay.
And the goal is to fill up your square and have the most amount of points.
Yeah.
And so it's in vertical rows. So if you have 2 of the same dice, like 2 2s, you add them together and multiply them by the matches. So if you had 3 2s, it would be 6 times 3.
Okay.
If you have 2 2s, it's 4 times 2. And we liked it so much that we actually ended up pulling out real dice. I did 2 little tic-tac-toe things and we started playing it out of the game.
That is sick as hell. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
It honestly make for, like, you know how we play for quarters up north?
Yeah.
If we just doing like a little 1v1 thing, it'd make for a perfect one of those for playing with quarters.
Yeah, I like that. That's sick as hell.
Yeah. And then we progressed far enough, we unlocked the fishing mini game. Because, you know, every game has to have a fishing mini game, but this one serves a purpose because we got to feed the settlement.
Yeah.
Yeah. You clean up a lot of poop and from the little critters because they're all like little animal things.
Right? Yeah. I've seen.
And we just built the outhouse. But the kind of the fun mechanic with it is you're running a cult, and and as you progress and you get enough faith, you get these commandment tablets. Once you get 3 pieces, you can put down a new god's rule. And so just for a laugh, I decided to choose the ability, like, you chose, it's like, okay, what's your religion on death? It's like, and it comes up with 2 choices. Okay, you can either sacrifice and gain faith that way, or you can lose less faith when a cult member dies.
Okay. So
I chose sacrifice.
Yeah.
yeah, just for the fun side there.
Yeah.
The second one I did was I turned it into the Catholic Church where I can go around demanding donations.
No way. I love that.
And then I earned the ability to bless them. So I'll take the donation and then I'll bless them and get their faith up a little higher.
There you go.
Yeah, but
That's
they do
so
have
funny.
The followers do have a lifespan too, because we had our very first follower like just went. And I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was a little sentimental in a weird way because it was the very first follower, right? And they rolled perfect stats for being a follower.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't, like, they rolled 2 positive traits. One was, like, they ignore any negative talk of people, like, dissing their religion. So if people are questioning it, they're like, no, my faith is solid. And then the other one's, like,
sick.
Their prayers, you cannot interrupt their prayer. It's impossible.
No matter what.
So, like, the settlement could be burning, and they'll still be praying at the altar.
Holy crap! All right, I like it.
Gamer the devote. But yeah, no, it's a fun little 2D top-down roguelike. It's got some hack and slash little range mechanics with like they call it curses and stuff like that. When you go into the run, it randomly rolls a couple of options for the curse and the weapon. As you do more sermons and keep the faith up, and as your faith grows, you can spend it on upgrades.
Okay.
Actually, just about everything has an upgrade tree. So when they pray at the altar, when you've collected enough points from that, you can build more additions in your settlement.
Yeah.
Or compound, commune, whatever you want to call it. Cults of many variety. Then you have the sermons, which you use to actually preach and raise up the faith that you can do once a day. And then that goes into your dungeons, your dungeon runs, upgrades for that. So those are the two main currencies, and then you got gold. So, you know, if you run into a trader on the road or some stuff requires gold to build. And on the knuckle bones, which is what the game is called for the rolling the 9 dice versus the other 9 dice.
Yeah.
You can gamble there with the gold.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I guess as you gamble more and more, you unlock tougher and tougher opponents that you can wager higher and higher.
Oh, no way.
But we haven't been unlocking that because we've just been playing each other on it.
Yeah, just having fun that way. That's funny. I like that, though.
Yeah, so that's just kind of a little update on the gaming there. Do you want me to swing into the Gamescom, or you got something else before we want to get into news?
Well, I actually had like the perfect segue when you were talking about Hunt Showdown, where it got like a brand new thing and there's tons of players happening. The game that I've been playing the last, I want to say half a week, was Battlefield 4. I got right back into Battlefield 4. Same UI it's had since pretty much 2015. Definitely no new players, I'll tell you that much. The ones that have held out, though.
Like, people get word that, oh, this community's alive, or let's go check out this old game.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of funny because everyone that has stuck around since 2013 is dialed in. They are dialed incredibly in.
Try like an old Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Oh, they are sweaty on that. But yeah, it's kind of cool because in the last, like, when I first played it when it came out, no one would really like give commands to each other. It was all just kind of run and gun. There were commander positions that were always open, which pretty much commanders can just set down a UAV. They can like send in predator drones and stuff like that. Like, they can kind of sway the battle and give commands and stuff like that. These guys are on top of it. These commanders are actually helping out any way they can. They're like messing with the other people. They're sending in drones to like tanks that give us trouble. And also in my squad, I have not been in a squad yet that has not given me a command, and I have not been in a squad yet that the other people in that squad don't do the quick prompt affirmative to everything the squad leader says. Every single thing the squad leader says, 3 affirmatives come up. And then now I feel like I have to say it because everyone else is being so like military-esque. So yeah. Oh, it's been cool. So yeah, I logged into like PlayStation, and they have about 5 servers of Conquest that at any point within the day, 3 of those have a queue for them, and the other 2 are like 5 short of being full, but that kind of rotates. Like, sometimes the other ones are like a little short, the other ones have a queue. But dude, yeah, there's still a huge community for it. All the guys are awesome about it, and there's like, I'm definitely rusty, still kicking the rust off there, but like, still not bad if you're, because Battlefield's one of those games that like you could have. I had 14 and 9 for my kills to deaths on my last game I played, and I was 4th in my whole team, because you can still play the game of Conquest and still like be a part of your squad and help out your squad and still get like pretty high up and still advance quite far. Just because like I usually play a battle medic. So reviving, healing, all of that. If I do that enough, I get the same points as killing someone pretty quickly. Because like I think you only get like 100 points for just a straight kill, no nothing. If your squad member tags him, then maybe. If you tag someone and they get killed, you immediately get like a third of the points you would have gotten for killing someone. So,
is it just me, or is it like the go-to thing when you're learning a new game that's already kind of established is you go medic?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
that's
where I've always gravitated towards. Like, okay, I'm going to learn this. Okay, let's see what they do. I'm going to stick with them, keep them alive.
Yeah, see, like the reason I was more into it than anything is because there's 4 classes. I know you know most of this, but this is mostly for the listeners. There's 4 classes. There's recon, which I am not to swear, so I'm awful at it. I cannot be recon on that map whatsoever. There's support, which is nice for ammo, but the LMGs and all that stuff I'm not really into. And then there's the engineers, which is the closest thing that I do besides the assault class. Engineers, pretty much you can have anti-vehicle weapons, which if you've ever played a battlefield, that's incredibly useful. That's needed because a tank could just roll in and all the assault troopers in the world aren't doing anything to it. So yeah, you always need a few engineers in there. And also if you're in a vehicle, engineers can pop out, repair your vehicle for you. And I used to do that actually quite a lot. I might get into that again. But then there's the assault class. Pretty much the only thing an assault class is good for is being a medic. It also could just be a run and gun killer, grenader, but like yeah, you're not going to get that many points unless you're a really really good assault style player. You'd have to pretty much run in there and get incredibly lucky to, I think, justify being anything but a medic, because you get, I think, extra grenades and you get like the ability to put a grenade underneath your gun, which for a bit I did do that with the smoke. And smoke in that game is so underrated. The amount of times that has saved me, where you just turn a corner and there's 5 guys coming up a hill on you and you just pop a smoke and run away because they're all immediately trained on you.
Yeah.
So just doing that alone saves you. But anyways, yeah, it's still, I was afraid my nostalgia was like blurring me to how good it was, but I still absolutely love the game, love the gameplay. The maps are still some of the better ones I played. There's still the cheeky spots, but everyone knows where they are. So there's no, for this community, there's not a lot of secrets. There's nothing that like no one's surprised about. And for the most part, like everyone's kind of nice in a way. And that's not just because there is an all Canadian server that I play on sometimes. But no, like for the most part, there's no like people like camping out too bad. There's people that like set up sniper spots and stuff like that, but they're not like waiting at spawn for you. Everyone's trying to like rush as hard as they can.
They've cultivated a good community.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Still get teabagged every once in a while, but that's my own merit. That's my own fault. But yeah, no, I'm liking it.
There's 2 games that all kind of reminds me of. So you ever play PlanetSide 2?
No. Sounds familiar though.
You ever play Mag on the PlayStation, the 3-faction big shooter?
I've heard of it, never played it.
Okay. So essentially, what PlanetSide 2 does is it's free to play as well. you got 3 factions, and you're trying to take over the whole planet. The whole planet's actually there, and it's kind of got like a hexagon grid system of
Okay.
like territories, like how much does each faction have claimed.
Yeah.
And so you got everything from your jets, your airplanes, your tanks, your like jeeps equivalent to all the stuff that you'd see in Battlefield and
Yeah.
everything else like that, but kind of like more sci-fi there. I remember playing that a lot back in the day, and I had a couple of buddies back when I was in high school that we used to run that up, and it'd get crazy because it's not just one enemy team that you're doing all these capture the points with. It's 2, so there's 3 of them going
Yeah.
at it trying to take their claim, and so if one's winning really good on the planet territory, they're getting ganked from both sides there. Yeah, it's kind of like take Battlefield but blow it up into a bigger picture for the scale of the war.
Yeah.
And we know it's like, okay, we got this base under siege. They're going to send reinforcements from this base. Let's set up an ambush point.
Yeah. I like
And
that.
stuff like that.
That's kind of how I would play Civ 5 a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that. And then another one that's kind of a dead ringer for in between kind of Call of Duty and Battlefield. It used to be a full game that you actually pay for. It eventually went free to play. Was World War III, and they had more. I honestly liked the color palette there. It was more akin to like the original Black Ops kind of color palette.
Yeah.
Like a little bit more gray, a little bit more. These are the dark times.
Yeah, this is not a fun game.
But you still were able to customize your guy so much that you have games now trying to implement these features. I think they made them simpler because it's weird. They were too advanced for the time, but now these games are going towards what they were. Because you can choose what armor plates you have, and different armor plates have different values, different types, but the material of that armor plate would matter against what you go up to, and you could very much fully customize your soldier.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Ready or Not.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's the first time I ran into
expansive.
That. Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of an interesting trend to see how it's gone from simple indies went advanced and then didn't work out, and now the big games are doing those advancements.
Oh yeah, whatever they can, right?
Yeah,
they pick apart what worked and what didn't work, and then just take that over to theirs.
Yeah, I think it was just the balancing on it was a little rough. Like at the start, like they didn't get it balanced in time to get it kind of lined up nice. But you mind if I swing into our Gamescom?
Oh, I'm all set. Let's hear it.
All right. So we just had Gamescom 2024. A lot of game series and just series itself shows were announced based around the game culture. Up to bat first, I'm going to say we got Borderlands 4. We had a little bit of a reveal trailer. There was also another kind of trailer that I saw surface around that I don't know if it's from something from before, but it might seem like we might be able to play as Tiny Tina.
Oh, no way.
She's not going to be tiny anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just kind of... that. Borderlands 3, I struggled to kind of get interested because there wasn't a character I'm like, oh yeah, I'd play that one. Like
yeah.
Borderlands 2, there's a couple there. 3, not so much for me. But 4, it's like, well, you said Tiny Tina. It's like, well, that's one guaranteed. Any fan of like the first 2, like especially number 2, is gonna want to see
her.
what that like, and what the voice lines are gonna be like, and see what that's there. I know something that I'm excited for. I'm assuming you're excited for, just because we're big fans of the franchise. Is Dying Light: The Beast was announced?
Yeah,
they're bringing back Kyle Crane.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Seems like he's got a little bit of he's got that dog in him. He's got a bit of the infection still going on. His one eye's looking a little funky, and at the beginning of the trailer, it definitely shows something monstrous hunting down these military guys, and it could very well be our Crane.
Yeah, I like the vehicles and the weapons being added back into it.
Yeah,
seems like an interesting, fun time.
Yeah.
The only thing
so it's about a 20-hour story. So I don't know if we're gonna get like I don't know if we're gonna get like a full AAA price point on it, but it will be available on 4-player co-op.
Okay.
Doesn't have a release date yet. Doesn't have any announcement for crossplay. But speaking of you playing Civilization, 7 got announced. It's coming next year in the first quarter. Seemed like it was a really fun trailer, but when we watched the thing to show us all the trailers, copyright music hit and they silenced it. So, you know, it was one of those trailers that probably really relied on the music and the narration, and we didn't hear any of that.
Yeah. My whole thing with Civilization though is like it's pretty much just like chess the game. Number 7, it's like you can only do it's just the graphics are going to look better. It's going to run better. You're going to have a few more options, but you're still going to play the game, right? Still the same.
Well, it also depends. Like, they usually advance the technology tree. Sometimes they do something zany with it.
Yeah.
Like how far you can go. It's launching with a lot more of the base features than the last one, 6 did. A lot of these ones, a lot of stuff's left out, and you're stuck having to buy all these DLCs to get the finished game.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
Knock on wood.
Another one that I'm kind of just... I wish they picked something else to call it, or just found something else narratively, because The Great Circle...
I knew that's what you were going to talk about, yeah.
Does not sound at all like something interesting. Crystal Skull? Sure.
Yeah.
But Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, looks like a solid Indiana Jones game for what it is. Their second trailer at Gamescom, it was kind of, I don't know, it showed a lot more gameplay. The first trailer, despite the name, had a lot of fun because they had the Germans making a lot of jokes at the American expense.
Oh yeah, no,
and I
liked
the first trailer. That was more of that, and you might have me. But
the second trailer sucked. It showed gameplay, but it showed the same whip twice, and it showed the same block and punch 3 times. The background changed.
Phenomenally good graphics, but like you said, same whip. I think the only difference was like they're showing it in different contextual situations. Like the guy got whipped and fell down a well. The other one was disarmed. Yeah,
it's like cool, but like I don't know. It just felt like it would be like, oh, story. This same thing, story, and he's whipping again. It's like, all right, just a little more gameplay, a variety, I guess.
You remember that show, Death, Love, and Robots?
Yep.
Yeah, that really good animation, different thing every time.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, so Amazon Prime's doing their own little thing called Secret Levels.
Okay.
So it's got the same creative masterminds, like art direction, writer. I think some of the same writers, with the help of Amazon's MGM studio. The Blur Studio is the ones that made the original. There.
All right.
They're diving into world of video games with brand new animated kind of like shorts to either just go into something on a game or kind of just expand upon something. They showed God of War as like a small bit, but they got like Mega Man, Pac-Man, a lot of titles from PlayStation Studios, like I said. But
okay.
There. Sifu, that kind of kung fu beat 'em up game.
Okay.
Every time you went down, you became older.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that would ring the bell. Outer Worlds.
Love it.
Yeah, and Dungeons and Dragons. A whole bunch of other ones to be named there, but I'll get us moving on to the next one. But if that studio is probably one of the highest quality animation studios you could probably get your hands on, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it no matter what. This sounds right up our alley.
and they have licenses from PlayStation, Amazon with all their things that they've bought. They have a lot of licenses that you'd be kind of baffled by. But after that, we're gonna take a nice little commute in an old like 1920s, 30s little car where we're not gonna want to speed. We're going to the old country, Mafia, Rockstar.
Yeah.
We got
Like,
this. You're gonna be in, I believe, like Sicily or something like that.
looks like it.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
By the
so it's
coast.
early 1900s. We'll see if we see anyone before they took the boat.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
Definitely referencing 1. I'd be surprised if they reference 3. They're going to try their
they're not.
hardest to reference
I don't think
2.
they're gonna reference 3, 1 and 2.
No.
I think actually no. I think maybe just 2 because that one was from off the boat, right? Because the first one was that. Okay, am I confusing Godfather and Mafia? Is the first game the one where you played the taxi driver?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're just gonna be referencing the second one because that guy was Italian, fresh off the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after that, we got Dune Awakening, which
Yeah,
I'm
that
kind of
looked
looking
pretty
forward to. It's got the same people that made the Conan Exiles, and they did pretty good overall for that. They kept up. It's often played. Like, it's successful. Nowhere near as successful as Ark was, but success is up there. And they're
Yeah.
taking a property that is very popular right now. The second movie just came out a little while ago. I think we've both seen both movies now.
Yep, just watched it.
Yeah, so honestly, there's a combination of not knowing what's going on and a combination of intrigue when I watch that series.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is cool. I don't know what's going on. Oh, throat singing. Oh, cool fight
Yeah.
thing. Oh, they're taking on the
Hamburger
behemoth.
cheeseburger.
Oh, sandwords, come and eat them.
Yeah, you kind of
I
just
feel
have
like
to
the
roll
game's
with
gonna
it.
be the same way.
Yeah, I could see
But-
that getting hectic quick.
Yeah, well, the trailer that we watched, it showed like factions fighting over the spice, and then one trying to bail and saying, "All right, let's get the worm to cover our escape," and putting down a thumper.
Yeah.
So, if anyone that is not familiar with Dune, you play on a big desert island that has tapeworms living inside of it that like to come eat you, and you're the small little piece of bacteria in the grain of sand.
Oh yeah.
So there's a little bit of a horror element to it, in a sense. In my opinion, that would be horrifying.
Oh,
For
definitely.
them,
Yeah.
Story-wise, novel-wise, that's just a way of life. Something we haven't talked about too much, just want to dabble into it, is VR. There's a lot of NDAs, a lot of things that can't be talked about right now, but one thing that is being talked about is the Batman Arkham Shadows,
Yes.
where honestly, I call it like a AA VR title. I wouldn't call it AAA because that would be more like
No.
Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
But now you can use gadgets. You're doing the detective thing. You're beating up the grunts of your own hands. You're throwing batarangs. There's boss fights. There's dodging. You're
It's so cool. Yeah.
grappling, and you can throw yourselves over top of enemies to gain height. It's well thought out for what it is, and it's a lot. The gameplay trailer leads you to think it's a lot better than what everyone else was thinking. Because yeah, we've had some superhero VR titles like the Spider-Man, and I think maybe
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, one of the first DC properties, and honestly, I think they're bringing it to a higher level than the other two did.
Yeah, they did actually have a Batman PlayStation VR one, but that was pretty much almost like a demo of just
Yeah.
being in the Batcave and doing some stuff there. So I am interested to see how this one goes out. Yeah, I think out of all the games I played on VR, that one might actually make me motion sick.
Yeah, you might need to play something else to warm up for a few days.
Yeah. Yeah, if I just go into that, I don't know. Just it looks awesome, don't get me wrong, but just imagining that as I'm standing still, ooh.
So, just a little quick throw out. If you've played Skyrim and you've kept up with games since then, and you're familiar with like the old like Valve content in games, go watch the Goat Simulator remastered trailer. You'll get a laugh out of it. It's kind of like the whole trailer is a jail for video game memes,
Yeah.
and the Goat Simulator meme broke out. But it's definitely you'll get a laugh. Definitely if you've played a lot of like the older games that we grew up playing. So so probably anywhere from like if you're a gamer in like the early to late like 2010s, you'll get a kick out of the trailer for sure. If you're born then, you might not know what's going on.
Yeah. I think it's made for our age range.
It's a kid's game at heart, but the trailer was to pull on the nostalgia strings.
Yeah.
But after that, I'll get into a couple that I know you'll like. So we got a better look at the Black Ops 6 campaign.
Yeah.
Busting out I think the Cold War's one of the main guys there. I didn't play Cold War, so I don't really know the names of the operatives.
Neither did
if
I.
If it was like Woods or Captain Price, I got you. I know Ghost. We're good.
Just to tack on real quick, the reason I was late for this Discord call was because my partner just started playing a YouTube video, and it just started showing the trailer for Black Ops multiplayer, or the newest one, multiplayer. Okay. Real quick, you can actually take down someone from behind and then hold them up as a shield and walk with them in multiplayer.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like literally take their body and use it as a shield and shoot. And you know how disrespectful it would be for someone to do that, and then you load in and you go to kill someone and you see your body right there and they're shooting you. I think that's going to be the thing that like the sweats do instead of teabagging. Just do that.
Just the style?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's all the style points. But anyways, yeah, we got to look at the campaign. Still looks pretty good. I think you said it best when you were talking about the movement.
Oh, and it looked all you got to do to know the words that I said is when you see someone scratching their arm and jittering around, what's the word that comes to your head? You don't need to say it, Adam.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But no, there was some, for lack of a better word, some high octane crackhead.
Yeah,
I'll just say it. But yeah, they showed dolphin diving backwards, sliding left and right, let alone forward.
They even showed like your arms, like you go diagonally upwards almost a little bit and like go down. And if you're diving sideways, you could also, the whole time, by the way, any movement we've talked about, you can shoot your weapon while you're doing that.
Yeah. And it's not like crazy. Shaking. It's like action hero, like level, like steady aim. And all I
no problem
is like, you played at the NBA games a while back, but you think you broke ankles or got your ankles broken then? That's nothing on what's about to happen in this game.
I'm gonna feel so old. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna start drop shooting everybody, and they're like, "Why isn't he sliding to the left or the right?" Just prone shoot.
Yeah, it's like because my knees hurt. Yeah, you like that?
You know that it's an older gamer when they start drop shooting. And not doing the movement, because that's the movement they know.
Yeah, it's just get down low, shoot. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It was actually kind of crazy. Just real quick, when I booted up Battlefield 4, it's been a while since I actually played a real shooter. I tried sliding so many times, I realized that was a time before slides and dives. It was literally, I just kept crouching and then walking. I'm like, oh my goodness. A simpler time. But anyways, yeah.
You see that the little chicken that's like, it's got the Jamaican guy holding up like a floating device, and the chicken's like chesting it. It's like, put 2 feet on. No, he puts his 1 foot on. He's like, starts bobbing his head, and it's like, that's just you going through the Battlefield game.
I literally, yeah. I'm like, why can't I dive? Why can't I like slide. It's like, no, because they didn't care about that. Yeah, I love it.
All right, so next one up here is actually one, like I said, another one that you kind of took more akin to, and kind of reminds me of the Life is Strange series, and kind of a Telltale approach almost. Is Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. It's the girl band that something it showed them like reliving old memories in a diner. There's this package and
I like
don't know what happened, and it seems like maybe the other 2 or 3 are missing because no one's talked since, and something was delivered to the one, and it shows it near the end of the trailer before the package, like all the lights flickering, things shaking, not sure what's going on. But it kind of looks like it's going to be like a more of like a wholesome story overall with a heavy mystery. I don't know if you could quite bring it into horror. We'd actually have to see and test the waters ourselves to know how bad the event was.
Yeah, I just pray to God, because like when you said the light flickering stuff, I just don't want it to be supernatural. I'm sorry, I'm so done with supernatural stuff in like all that sort of thing. It's like, no, have a killer or have like a kidnapper or something like that. Like have it, I want it grounded more, because the story looks great, but then all of a sudden it started doing like that shaky stuff. I'm like, that better be an earthquake, because I swear to God, if it's some dimensional hopping, spirit rising, anything, I'm checking right out. I can't do that anymore.
Really? Because I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
I know, I saw. But I'm just so hoping that they got kidnapped or something. I don't know. Just do something that's real. That's what I'm terrified of. Terrified of real kidnappers. It's like, not that stuff.
Well, it's interesting how in a period of a couple of days you changed kind of your thing on that, because you seemed we're like, when we were
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for a story. I love story games, as you can tell, but like, it was that last little bit there that I'm like, please, for the love of God, because that's all I want.
Well, you want like a heavy rain story is what you probably crave.
Yes. Yeah. Quite literally, yeah. Or
I don't think we're not gonna get something like that, I feel like, anytime soon with what's been announced, unfortunately.
No, everything is dimensional hopping. Everything's spectral and different powers and stuff like that. And I just so badly want grounded stories that just the writing takes it there. Yeah. Better than a dimension.
Mind a little bit of sci-fi in that mix. There was, I don't think I actually had that to my list. You might remember that sci-fi?
Yes,
it was made by the same. It was made by Dark Pictures.
Yeah, I remember that one. It's almost like it's clone type things, mimics. It's like mimic styles, where it looks like a mimic got on top of or got into a space station type thing, and it's wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
vamp for you to find it.
Yeah.
Vamp to vamp.
The anthologies is the ones that keep popping up. So
yeah, but yeah, no, it looks like a good one. Really realistic. Vamp. Weather outside on the 405. Backed up. Got an accident.
Are you just saying stuff?
Yeah. I did not take improv. My relationship with my father is not what I would like it to be. Yeah, I do this quicker, man. I'm just disintegrating here.
Directive 80/20.
There we are. Directive 80/20, people. You gotta check that out.
Sorry about that. So,
okay. We are gonna go over to our extended edition. Thank you so much for listening to Amherst Island Radio 101.3 FM. This has been On the Rewind. We are going to go over to anywhere you listen to podcast and keep this show rolling. Thank you so much for listening.
Welcome back to On the Rewind.
Okay, and welcome back to On the Rewind. Had to close off that show a little quick there. Time got away from us. We are having so much fun on this episode. So, you just listened to our Amherst Island Radio Broadcast Edition 101.3 FM. You are now on to our extended edition. Wherever you're listening to podcasts, we're going to be there giving you an update, rewinding back our weeks, and now we are talking about Protocol 84.
Directive 8020.
There we go. I got numbers and a word in. Anyways, yeah, we were talking about like Gamescom, games that came out. We were talking about this one. It's almost like a mimic got on board of a space station, started taking over stuff. Derek's very apt with the call that looks like a Dark Pictures game. Kind of looks like Until Dawn graphics almost to a T.
Yeah, and then it popped up and said Dark Pictures. I'm like, that's the company, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but, yeah. The Corey and all that.
So Dark Pictures isn't exactly the company, it's the IP.
Okay.
So you had the Dark Pictures anthology, right? The first 3 games there. So this is still falling under the anthology, but they're calling it Season 2.
Okay, yep.
And so this one is Directive 8020. So they're calling it the first chapter of Season 2. There'll be a space and sci-fi twist. So you were very apt in describing what seemed to be mimics, but it seemed more parasitic. So biohazard, something fleshy, is either taking over or copying your existence.
Yeah.
And to the point where a lot of them are kind of like body horror monsters coming at you, but some of them have gotten enough control over their form to mimic you. And that's kind of what the game showed so far. It seemed like a space expedition. Everything seemed right. They made a discovery, and now everything's gone awry. Sounds a little familiar, but I think that's a lot of sci-fi movies and games concepts for sci-fi.
Yeah.
But
Alien Romulus.
It is brought to us in the format of Dark Pictures, which through and through maintains a really good record of having interesting stories, a horror element, co-op shenanigans where you're sabotaging your friends and yourself or trying to get all survive.
Yeah. I actually do want to try the last one that was in the chapter. It was the film crew going through the murder hotel. Really want to try that one out.
Okay. But out of the horror, but keeping monsters in the picture, we got Monster Hunter Wilds. We've had a couple of trailers. This one showed off a cool new monster with the whole like spider, but the backside of it turns into like this rose, pollen, poison kind of thing. I've talked about Monster Hunter Wilds a couple times in the podcast as they've released new things. So you still got your little companion. You also got your mount, which they're bringing over from Rise. But they're upgrading that in the sense of you can have a weapon on that and yourself, so you can switch out as you deem fit. And it kind of just showed a little bit of the cooking at the end. I don't know what you can really say other than the graphics are really good. They're an improvement from Monster Hunter World, so it's not like it's trying to run on the Nintendo Switch this time around again.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of World and you weren't a fan of the other ones, this one will be up your alley because it's the next version for World. And I'm wondering if it's going to be, because there's going to be a one after this eventually, because Wilds is going to sell like crazy. Everyone likes a Monster Hunter game. Not everyone, but the tastes are vast enough. This one's going to have crossplay. The community is going to be stronger for it because of it, because you're not limited to who's just on your platform, or if all your buddies are on different ones, or even if you're all on the same one, you're going to have a lot more options of interacting with the community. I'm curious to see what they do for crossovers, because they always like kind of in that middle era get into crossovers. Like they had Witcher, Devil May Cry, and a few other ones get into Monster Hunter World. So we'll see what kind of crossovers happen there. But the Guaranteed showed co-op this time, which people were actually concerned that this one was going to be a single-player experience. I don't know why there's always that looming rumor when it comes to Monster Hunter. I understand to some degree because the older style, there are some missions that you could only do solo, most of the bulk ones, and then the farming ones were the ones you could do co-op.
Yeah.
But that's the big announcements. There's a whole bunch of smaller ones, a lot more of the indie studios that we could get into, but I think we wanted to keep it a little bit shorter today, so I think there's one or two more days from when we're recording this left, so we might bring you a couple more updates on the next recording.
All right. So, thank you so much for listening to this episode of On the Rewind. We broadcast every other Thursday on Amherst Radio 101.3 FM. And we also upload our entire show with the extended edition and everything like that to Spotify, YouTube, pretty much anywhere. We've started uploading some shorts, some reels. Check them out. Get some of the best snippets of this show just for a quick little laugh. Always show your support there. It helps us out so much. All right. I'm Adam.
I'm Derek.
And we just rewound. You'll never stop loving it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. See you, people.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to On the Rewind.